Mad Dog here again. This video is about Hobo stove. I guess you're all familiar with a Hobo stove. Hobo stove primarily being a small stove that you can carry with you that burns a minimal amount of fuel very efficiently. I've created mine by acquiring this old tin. This one's made of stainless. It doesn't have to be stainless steel, but if it is stainless steel, once it's used and gone cold, it discolours, but it doesn't go rusty. Anyway, what I've done is, into the tin, using a drill, I've drilled 4 holes in each corner, and then I've cut out using a junior hacksaw. You can use a Dremel or a grinder or metal shears, whatever you've got, to cut out a square window, approximately 1.5 inches in this case by 3 inches, and then I've used a 1/2 inch drill bit to drill a series of holes around the bottom just under the window, and the same around the top, probably 1/2 inch from the rim on the top, and the same underneath. I've drilled just a random series of holes underneath. This means that when you've put your fuel inside and you've ignited it, you get a good oxygen draw from underneath, which means that the fuel burns very efficient, very hot for a small surface area, for a small amount of fuel. Now what I do is, I guess it's not a trick, but I get 3 tent pegs, standard normal tent pegs, arranged in a tripod, obviously like a bar stool if you like, so that on uneven ground you can still stand them level. Drive them into the ground, onto which I stand the Hobo stove, so that no matter what the ground is, you can level them out to suit. Now the second thing is, around the top, the holes that I've already drilled, 2 more tent pegs. I can insert through them holes like so, like that, and that serves 2 purposes. The first one being mainly your cooking container. I can stand on them like so. The second reason is, obviously this thing's hot. When you want to move it, you can pick them up, move the thing about should you need to. Just remove them for a minute. Now once your container, in this case just a steel cup, you can use anything, a big bowl or small, whatever you've got to cook on, boil water. Now you don't need a lot of fuel for this. This is the trick with this. You don't need a lot of fuel. It's very efficient, because once these tent pegs or your support, you can use rocks or anything you've got basically to stand this just slightly above the ground, so it's just standing 2 inches or so, maybe 3 or 4 even, out of the ground. You get airflow being drawn in underneath, which fuels the fire, which means it burns very hot, very efficient, minimal smoke. It's not a stealth fire, I won't go that far, but it's very efficient. I normally use this when I'm out camping. I even camp in the garden, but if you're out bushcrafting or whatever, first thing in the morning you want a hot cup of bran, a campfire cup of coffee. You get this thing built up, sparked up, drop your cup with your brew kit in, get your water in there, get it boiling, which only takes about 4 or 5 minutes, if that. Very smoke free. Get your first cup of hot bran going. Dead light, dead easy, dead simple to make, and they're very efficient. You can use these to heat up enough water to warm through an MRE meal ready to eat, a ration pack meal. And they're so simple, and they're very reliable. You can make a smaller version of this out of a baked bean can, which are good for a few uses, but the disadvantage is, with something like that, once you've used it and extinguished it, if you don't use it again for a long time, it will rust, it will corrode. But that personally, it doesn't bother me. But if you want to keep it stored and clean, ready for the next use, stainless steel is the way to go if you can get it. Anyway, this is part 1 really of the Hobo stove. The next video, part 2, will be the Hobo stove in use. I'll give you a quick demo of me doing a brew on it and the thing actually lit and working. Like I say, nothing fancy, nothing elaborate as usual, but it's very effective, so I recommend it. Good fun to try, good campfire trick. The Hobo stove. Stay tuned, as they say. Thank you for watching as always. Take care, and I'll see you on the next one.